It's already been a month since the Dragon Age, the Veilguard full-on title reveal, gameplay reveal, the title change, and also a month and a bit since our last proper podcast together. And we're all back gathering together now to have a proper retrospective look at Dragon Age, the Veilguard. I'm joined with Lisa, Lambo, and today Marshall to go over little bits of news, our takeaways, our reactions to all of the exciting information now that we are full swing in the proper marketing cycle of Dragon Age 4. How crazy, Lisa, Lambo, and Marshall is it that after 10 years of waiting, at least 8 years on my channel, and so long, that now we're in the pivotal moment for each of our channels and just in this fan community of actually on the, not even on the horizon, we are on the cusp of getting this game in the next, 4 months, 5 months? How insane is it?
It still doesn't feel real. Like, even when they announced the release date, I'm still gonna just have this, like, all the news has me very excited, and everything I've seen has me wanting to play the game more than ever, and yet I'm just numb to the prospect of it's real.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Dragon Age is coming out. Yeah, okay. Wait, why am I not excited? What the hell?
I guess because we're just so used to, nothing. Like I saw a tweet after we got all the news that was like, getting all this Dragon Age news at once after a decade of barely anything is like when you're starving and you try to eat as much as you can, but your body doesn't accept it.
Yeah.
And
That's
you end up
what it
throwing
is.
it all back up. Like we've gotten a little tidbits there, and people who have really put in the effort to look at all this stuff, like people who read the comics, the books, who go over a little bit of lore details, development backstories, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
We have had tricklings, but for most people, it's been 10 years since they've seen pretty much anything aside from 1 or 2 CG trailers at the Game Awards every other year or so.
Marshall,
So
I feel
it's
like you really just targeted all 3 of us with that statement.
Listen.
No, it's true. I appreciate that from a mainstream point of view, lots of people have seen Dragon Age and have had negative tidbits or haven't seen enough of the game or have had a negative perception because they've just seen behind the scenes gameplay or behind the scenes snippets, or they're making a CGI trailer on the Dreadwolf. And obviously from a mainstream point of view, who is the Dreadwolf? What is the Dreadwolf? Why is the Dreadwolf? And now we're all collectively, niche fans as well as general Dragon Age fans, are all collectively losing our minds over the good stuff that we are seeing that is representing this next Dragon Age game.
It's surreal. Like Lambo said, it doesn't feel real that we're finally this close to something we've waited essentially a decade for.
It's true. Yeah.
That especially, we're gonna be playing this game in a few months, like this year, if it doesn't get delayed. I don't think it will.
No.
But,
Don't put that in the world. Don't put that into the world.
I don't think it will. But
We don't say the
yeah.
D word around here, okay?
Sorry, excuse me. But yeah, we're gonna be playing this game this year, and after so long of hearing barely anything, and now suddenly here's gameplay, here's the characters, here is our companions, and here is the story, and here is Solus, and look, it's this and this and this, and also, by the way, you're gonna be playing it this year. It is a lot.
It's true. I can't keep up. I've taken a little small break for 2 weeks, and I'm like, it's good, but it's like flipping heck. Like it's romance now. It's relationships over here. It's combat and skill trees over there, and I'm still talking about the companions from last month, and I'm like,
I know, same.
And even the 10-year wait, the different people that I assume we've all become since the I was 20, I was 16 10 years ago to now being 26, to having a completely different point of view in my life to when I thought that Dragon Age 4 was going to come out. Think
I
back.
was 17.
Talk about
Jack and I are the same age, so we were basically going for the same thing.
Well, I thought, it's definitely going to be out by 2020. Surely, right?
Surely.
Yeah, and I remember watching your videos, and you were speculating, 2022, maybe 2023, because of developers that left, and it came out that it was still in pre-production rather than production. So you're like, 2023, and I'm like, 2023, but that's so long, and here we're 24.
It's true.
I used to think it was gonna be 25. I'm gonna be honest. That was my latest prediction.
I was starting to think. I genuinely was starting to think that too. Yeah, with Jeff Grubb's reports, and it still could be. I mean, they're saying that it's not going to be, but we haven't got a release date yet, and it is July. And apparently, Inquisition, released in 2014, had its release date revealed in April for an October release date, and then was delayed into November. But that was still at least a 6-month or a 7-month in between of the marketing. And we know that EA likes to do 6-month ramp up. I feel like we're going to get the release date this month, but that's for another time.
I think they're waiting with the release date just because they don't want to repeat of what happened with Inquisition, and I think BioWare knows they have to get it right this time, and they don't want to disappoint fans, so they're not risking it.
And it builds up hype too. It makes you want to watch their new social media posts. It doesn't mean that it's not a bad thing that they haven't released it yet. It's a marketing strategy of how we're going to get people coming back for more. If they just have the release date, and that they might not want to see the San Diego Comic-Con thing that they're doing. They might not want to go to that. They might not want to watch this next trailer. Obviously, that's not us in that category. But from a general marketing point of view, they may want to hold that on for a little bit, because even Andromeda had its release date 3 months revealed before the game came out at an Nvidia conference. Very random place for a BioWare full-on release date reveal. The Nvidia GeForce conference, when they were revealing graphics cards, they showed off a gameplay preview of Andromeda, and they went, by the way, it's coming out in 3 months. So it's like, what? You literally had N7 Day 2 months before. You had the entirety of so many other events previously, PAX West, etc., and you chose an Nvidia conference in January to release your release date. So hopefully they'll be smarter than that. But yeah, like at any point they could release it. And I think this month, maybe San Diego Comic-Con will get that release date, but it is just a case of waiting. And they're saying it's coming out this year, so are the reports, and it's just exciting, really.
Is San Diego Comic-Con streamed at all, or is it just a case of
panels?
We'll hear about it?
Some panels are streamed. Games media will be there, so we'll be able to check out IGN's conferences and IGN's own shows and stuff if you want to watch IGN stuff. But I do not think that the majority of that is streamed. I think it's panels and stuff. Now, they may release a trailer. I reckon we'll get a trailer on San Diego Comic-Con that'll be displayed there and then displayed online. I don't think that there is any clean-cut kind of streaming methods of that, unfortunately. Unless somebody is going to San Diego Comic-Con and wants to stream directly to us as they go and find all the Dragon Age stuff. We would love that. We would love you. We'll bring you on this podcast and you can stream it as we watch for all the Dragon Age secrets. That'd be brilliant. But I suppose casting our minds back on this hectic month that it has been of actually getting concrete Dragon Age information, we're all going to retrospectively give our reactions because it's been so fast and there's been so much to catch up on. We're going to now just go back to the initial first bit of news and then make our way back up to July right now of the bigger bits of news. Not everything, but at least the big chunks. Talk about our reactions to it, our main takeaways, our impressions, and then explore all of that together and really create a holistic impression on the current state of Veilguard. So, everybody's heard my reaction to the name of Dragon Age the Veilguard from Dragon Age Dreadwolf, which already feels like it was a century ago, that name change, and even referring to the next Dragon Age as Dreadwolf. But Marshall, Lambo, and Lisa, what are your thoughts on Dragon Age the Veilguard as a title? I'll start with Lisa.
I do have to admit it took some getting used to after calling it Dreadwolf for so long. But I mean, I had the same thing with calling it Dragon Age 4 and then calling it Dreadwolf. But yeah. I like it. I like the reasoning behind it, doing it for because the focus is us and our companions, and it's still about Solus, but it's not just about him. So I get why they did it. The only thing that kind of bothers me, like why the Veilguard? Why not just Veilguard? And that's basically my take.
I'm in the exact same camp of like, just drop the V. And there is the argument of, well, they're talking about an organization. It's like, it's the Veilguard. And I point to Inquisition and say, where's the in that? Huh?
Yeah.
They didn't call it the Inquisition.
It's true.
Dragon Age Veilguard would have been so much better. DAVG, and then now you've got DATVG.
I'm just calling it Dav or Dave. Yeah.
I've been calling it DATV, but that's only because of the Swifty Dragon Age Taylor's version. Yeah, and it's brilliant. It's because that reveal was a day before I saw her, so it was like I got Dragon Age Taylor's version while going to see Taylor Swift. This is the best of both. This is both of my hyperfixations combining. It's brilliant.
Even though it's called the Veilguard officially, no one's going to add the. They're just going to call it Dragon Age Veilguard. In common colloquial terms and in slang terms of people on the internet and in the Dragon Age community, it's just going to be called Dragon Age Veilguard. That's what I fully believe is going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to put forth the effort to add a useless the to clarify I didn't know what you were talking about. You didn't add the in front of the Veilguard. My bad. I didn't know. People are just going to call it. I think it's a good name change. I understand that probably when they were very early on in this iteration of Dragon Age 4, after all the resets and reboots and stuff, they were like, okay, Solus. We're going to call it the Dreadwolf since, it's all about Solus. He's the antagonist. And they were like, well, what if what if there was 2 more elven gods and they were more so the antagonist and Solus kind of is he a good guy, a bad guy? You have a Shiraki relationship with them. Also, everyone really seems to like companions. That's our biggest thing that we have as a company. And Baldur's Gate 3 just was the greatest game of all time last year, and their companions won multiple awards.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a more focus on that. Everyone loves our companions, so why don't we just name it around around our companions, which I think is completely valid. Everyone knows BioWare for its companions, its characters. They're extremely well written. You can think back to all your favorites, from Solus and Inquisition to Morden from Mass Effect 2 to any of these characters that you've grown to love. You always have a favorite. And so I think focusing on them specifically for, in their words, the greatest companions they've ever written, I think is an extremely solid move. And changing your game's name to fit this change in direction is only fitting. Solus isn't the main and only focus of this game now. It's
true.
It's your friends you've made along the way.
It's true. And that's what it's all about. It's the implications of that, as opposed to Dreadwolf, which, again, back in 2021 when we got that title reveal, it doesn't tell me anything about the game. Okay, I'm going to be chasing after the Dreadwolf. Solus is going to have a key role in this narrative. I already knew that in Trespasser, whereas previous Dragon Age titles always hinted at the plot. Dragon Age 2, or Dragon Age Exodus, as we all like to call it anyway, fleeing from your hometown because of a said reason. Inquisition, building an army and being the Inquisitor. Origins, relating to your origin story, and you coming up as a brand new hero to defeat the Blight. Whereas Dreadwolf, am I going to be the Dreadwolf? Am I a part of the Dreadwolf? Is the Dreadwolf an organization? No. Now, Solus does have a different dynamic with Rook compared to how we've seen in previous games, which may have kind of coincided with the title. We're not being the Dreadwolf, but we are in some regard communicating with the Dreadwolf periodically throughout this game. But still, it didn't have any indication or implication on the story, the narrative direction, and the team, which all previous Dragon Age titles have. And that's why I like Veilguard, because it does imply that, and it implies that team dynamic. It implies that we are the head of something like Inquisition. And it just has that sense of direction on, this is about the characters and the story. That you were going to build not just the antagonist, because while obviously Solus is a huge key role and a brilliant antagonist in the next game, the entirety of Dragon Age is not based on its villains. While I do really good villains, it's not just about that. You don't play a Dragon Age game for its villains. You play it for its cast of characters and the ensemble that you get to communicate relationships with and all that stuff. So I appreciate in that regard, and I'm in agreement about the. I get it because it's DATV or DAIV, like Dragon Age 4. Even they've said that Dreadwolf would have been an easier title to market, and I do miss calling the game Daddy as opposed to Dave, but you win some, you lose some.
It would have been akin to calling Dragon Age Inquisition Dragon Age like Magister or Corypheus.
Exactly.
Like,
that's true.
They are the main villain, and they do interact with your character a lot and are the driving force behind the whole plot. But it doesn't really give you the gist of the game.
It's true.
Maybe the dad jokes were part of the reason why they changed it. It's just a tiny bit.
But they doubled down on it.
They loved the dad jokes.
Baldur's Gate doubled down on the dad jokes with Halsin by having him actually call himself Daddy. So why can't Solus? Why can't Solus?
If they were going to go with Dreadwolf as a title, they'd need to have Solus address himself as a daddy. And maybe they just couldn't do it. Maybe they were like,
I will be the daddy of the new world.
With the name title explode. What was our first reaction to the Xbox Showcase trailer? I know there's been a lot of backlash about that in those 3 days before the gameplay reveal. I know that we all streamed it anyway. I'll start with this one. I honestly enjoyed that trailer. Looking at back in hindsight, yes, it's got that cartoony kind of aesthetic, but it's, for me, that did not resemble any of the gameplay, and I looked at it from an objective point of view as a very, very thirsty Dragon Age fan who had no context and no information, no tidbits on this game, and then we finally got like a glowing, beautiful, serene waterfall of, these are all your companions. Varric's in this. I mean, we already knew Varric and Scott Harding were going to be in the game. Not a good point. But we got the 7 companions confirmed with a bunch of factions. We got a sneak peek at Rook. We got a sneak peek at locations. And for me, I was just looking at all of the things that we did get that I really wasn't bothered about the art style direction, because the footage literally said that it was in-engine, but not representative of gameplay. As a cinematic, looked a bit goofy, but it didn't represent the official game, as we now know it absolutely didn't. But it showcased, like, we got all the characters, and seeing Davrin to seeing flipping Bellara to, seeing Tash. For me, that was brilliant.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same camp. The thing that threw me off a little bit, well, mainly the music, really.
Yes.
But I just didn't think it fit with Dragon Age, and I know that in previous trailers they have used like popular songs as well. So I guess I understand why they did it, because maybe they just wanted to appeal to a larger audience as well. And its marketing difference in tone just kind of threw me off a little bit, and I think that's what most people struggled with as well.
Understandable.
Yeah, and yeah, the art style as well. It looked a little more cartoony. Not as much. It did stand out to me, but it didn't bother me as much as the overall tone. But yeah, in hindsight, it doesn't bother me anymore now that we've had the gameplay. Now that the devs have said that the tone of the game is basically a mix of both nice, happy moments, but you've also got a few dark moments. So ignoring the tone of the trailer, we got the companions and the things we as like very rabid Dragon Age fans see in the background of every frame, going over the trailer frame by frame. Like that is what excited me most about this trailer. So
absolutely,
that is what I care about.
Yeah.
The tone of the trailer being more akin to like a hero shooter was very off-putting, with like the names popping up in bold and like the slow motion as they were revealed was very weird. Like Inquisition had some weird trailers as well, but it never had like that kind of tone issue when revealing the companions. The David Bowie weird choice for music, part of the game being like goofy and happy and a bit over the top, and then the other half being really like dark and a bit more grungy and depressing. That's just been Dragon Age, all of them. Like you go from going into the deep roads and Origins and finding the Broodmother lore to going back to camp and Alistair asking if you've licked a lamppost in winter. Like, you can have both. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
I still don't really see the Fortnite-y graphic. Like it's
I don't
still looks
either.
fine. I see. It's definitely stylized, but it's not Fortnite. It's not that like base thing. But the trailer is exactly what most people were asking for a big reveal, which was the companions, which is going to be the most important part of the game, and they showed them off in spectacular fashion. And like Lisa said, for the eagle-eyed fans, you could notice a lot of things in the background. Like the average viewer would just like watch the trailer and enjoyed it, but us like rabid fans were like, oh, why does Lucanus have wings in the background for no reason?
Oh, what is Bellara holding?
What is Bellara holding? Is that her arm? No, it's not. She's not. It's not her arm like most people think. Oh, this Evanura statue's behind that dragon. What are those tendrils coming out of the earth? Harding,
Eclipse.
when can I kiss you?
Calm down.
It's like all the questions that matter.
It's true, and you can kiss her.
Like Tash having the emerald horn and stuff like that,
and
like,
and dual wielding while being a warrior as well, which is like what
dual wielding. That's what the trailer was for. It was for these are your companions. Here's a general like idea of how they act. Manfred wasn't in there, which was a bit of a slight. But
no, Manfred was in there because he resurrected Manfred.
He was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he didn't have the goggles.
Unless that wasn't Manfred. No, maybe it wasn't if he didn't have the goggles.
Maybe it was another.
What if every time Manfred dies, he comes back as Manfred the second and third and such?
But he has a whole skull, doesn't he? Because some of the assistants have half skulls.
Yeah, he has a full skull, I believe.
Didn't the skeleton that was in the trailer have a half skull?
Yeah,
so maybe that wasn't Manfred.
Maybe I don't think it was. I think Lambo's right. No, Lambo, you're right.
I'd know that man anywhere. Probably one of the most like obvious examples of that is when the Griffin was shown off. A lot of I hate using these words. A lot of like casual Dragon Age fans kind of got angry, saying Griffins are supposed to be extinct. This is breaking the law. Whilst people who have read the actual reasoning behind, who have read the books and it explains how the Griffins went extinct in the first place, are like, no, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like
I was just excited to see him.
Me too. I was excited to see the fact that we've got Asan, a little baby Griffin pet with Davrin. It's brilliant.
That was the main point of the trailer that I enjoyed. Is like to a general audience, it showed off what you needed, but for eagle-eyed fans, there was so many little things you could find frame by frame, like the artifact that Bellara had. We actually know, we have an idea of what that is. Nev, it should be Neve. It's Nev. Nev getting the brooch of the Dreadwolf, of brooch of Friend Harel. Is that what it was?
That is what the red jennies put on the table in Trespasser if you become a red jenny.
Okay.
So I don't know if that means anything. It might just be a reused asset, but maybe.
Like, for every character, you could pause and, like, look over it and find something if you know a bit more about the lore.
I think the backlash, I mean, it was always going to happen, mainly because of, like, I think if this trailer released 10 years ago, there wouldn't be any backlash. Just because how, like, the landscape of the internet has changed over the years. Like I said, when people say, oh, it looks like Fortnite, I think there's smoke in that pack. I don't see it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really think of Fortnite. I think that's like a big overreaction. I do agree that the tone was a drastic shift from what we had been previously getting. But I also think that is a product of marketing in the current gaming sphere. Like every Dragon Age game is a product of their time. You know, you look back at Dragon Age Origins made in like 2009.
Yeah.
And it's like over the top bloody rock and roll type, well, at least the trailer was over the top bloody rock and roll. Everyone is extremely sexy and conventionally attractive. It's the most 2009 game you can think of in terms of a 2009 fantasy game, and we love it. It's great. It's fantastic. But like, you wouldn't really make a game like that today. You make a different game, just because how things have changed over like a decade and a half. And so I think, especially with like the rise of, like I said, you know, like hero shooters and focuses on, you know, individual characters in a broader sense, that's probably why the marketing team went for this appeal.
Yeah.
It's also most likely for like again, general audience, mass public, trying to catch the most fish with the widest net.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And people
for sure.
who are just a little bit more familiar with Dragon Age are like, well, this doesn't look like it, and like, yeah, it really doesn't. But you know, even like once you catch the fish, you can do whatever you want with them, which is
Well, it's true.
which is the actual game. Which, you know, when we actually got the gameplay, I feel like a lot of people's
it flipped. It switched.
worries,
It completely flipped. And I mean, another good example of this, and I think maybe even the trailer's origin itself probably maybe even wasn't from BioWare, but maybe EA, because the moment that trailer went live, after the Xbox trailer went live, the showcase one, and we had that negative reception to it in the comments section of YouTube and whatever, and online. The BioWare Twitter account was tweeting loads of pictures of the actual real gameplay footage of Dragon Age Veilguard to show people, actually, the game doesn't look like that. Don't worry, it looks like this instead. And we got a beautiful shot of like Nev, Rook, and Tash, and we got loads of other shots just showcasing the true beauty of this game. So it kind of feels like you know, some kind of internal marketing efforts going on there, but maybe a cross-wired team, a different kind of team made this trailer compared to the other teams working on the account anyway. I don't know. Either way, though, their reaction to it was really good, and it showcased that they want to try and ramp up that. Yes, this trailer is showcasing a point of the game, or a narrative point, or a companion point of view, and maybe it hasn't fully succeeded in that regard tonally. Hey, we're going to back that up with, here's actually what the game looks like, here's more content. And by the way, you're only waiting 3 days until you actually see the game yourself. And since we got that, like, again, a good example is Mr. Matty Plays. He did not like that reveal trailer for understandable reasons. I watched this video, it was a very just reason why he didn't like it. And then 3 days later, turned his opinion around and said, actually, you know what, having seen the gameplay, I think this looks really good. And I think the gameplay just solidified, and we'll go on to that next, but the gameplay just solidified everything that I have personally been asking for in a Dragon Age game. Well, that is quite a big statement to make based on the 20 minutes of gameplay. It is the things that they've said regardless of the gameplay. The fact that we can choose a faction, the fact that we have so many more hairstyles, the fact that we have this golden path, no hub-based worlds approach where it's not that there are no mounts in this game. You get these levels and you can do a bit like Dragon Age Origins, but they're not these sprawling ass open worlds where you're going to do nothing. The fact that they're creating the best companions they ever have. Each companion is romanceable. And the dynamic with Solas and how that is different. He is not the main antagonist. We have a relationship with him. These and so many more are the things that I've been asking for. And that, for me, is what solidified my, I don't want to say a hype, but just a genuine excitement, because they're saying this stuff and we can see it and it's true. And it's like they're just confirming things that I've been asking for on this channel for so long. And to actually have that. And of course, the things that we've been asking for are going to be realistic things in this game, because they hinted at that in Trespasser. They hinted at a role for Solas. They hinted at the Evanuris being the antagonists. They hinted at a smaller scale in this next game with Trespasser's own level design. And they hinted at so many things on that DLC alone that we've all foreshadowed based on that DLC for the next Dragon Age game. And so all we've been doing is picking up those pieces and saying, we would like that to be in the next Dragon Age game. And they've gone, well, of course you do. We've planted that seed, and that's what we're doing for this next game. And now they're confirming that. And that, for me, is so exciting. And it's just been even more so proved by that 20 minutes of gameplay. So while the real trailer, I like it more than I dislike it. I understand its point. It reminded me of Borderlands, which doesn't suit Dragon Age because that is, you know, the kind of bombastic, this is Krieg, the psycho. However, I did like how it titled each of the companions, and it gave them their own role, and it gives them their own skill trees. So from that point of view, from a gameplay point of view, I really like that. So for me, it worked more than it didn't work. I do understand the criticisms. However, I don't even think about that now compared to the gameplay preview that we got. The 20 minutes of pure Dragon Age content that is going to be what we are all going to play.
Yeah, really overshadowed the reveal trailer in like probably the best way it could have.
Yeah.
You know, because they definitely needed that after the reveal trailer. And I do have to wonder if this reveal trailer wasn't made by BioWare itself, maybe made by some like EA. Did they like have all this stuff on standby? Like, all right, people might not like this, so let's get this stuff ready.
Well,
in case
it's true. They had those screenshots posted on the afternoon.
It was pretty quick. So,
it was very quick.
Maybe they foresaw this ahead of time, and also any attention is good attention when you're trying to sell something.
That's true.
So I mean, again, they knew that gameplay is going to come out. Any fears people might have, hopefully they'll be quashed with the reveal trailer, and not with the gameplay trailer. And I think for the most part it was.
I agree.
Gameplay was definitely what we needed after that. Like even like us three watching the trailer live, and like even with like the amount of backlash it got, like we still enjoyed it, but like we still needed something more.
Yes.
And the gameplay was exactly what we needed. The big opening of seeing Minrathous, seeing all the NPCs, the new graphics, like the movement, the combat especially, like it's different from the previous Dragon Age games. It's more fast paced and closer to a hack and slash. But every Dragon Age game's combat has changed.
It's true.
It's always been different. This feels more akin to Dragon Age 2 being a lot faster paced, with Inquisitions, like how you can affect the enemy, like with the warrior and Inquisition, like you had the slam attack where you could put them prone and stuff, where it looks like Veilguard is taking more inspiration from that, where like your abilities can move the enemy around the battlefield. Like there was the rogue like slashing up into the air and moving around and like knocking enemies back and pushing them off the ledge when he was running along the stone walkway after the demons started falling. And it just looks like you're going to do more on the battlefield as opposed to just big like damage numbers. The last 5 or so minutes of the gameplay just being, all right, here's Solus, change your shorts.
I wasn't surprised that they're going this way for Veilguard. I already kind of expected it with what they did for Inquisition.
Yeah.
And I think it looks better than Inquisition in terms of like how it flows and how fast-paced it is. What bothered me about Inquisition is that if you're like mid-attack as a rogue or as a warrior or like a melee character, there wasn't a way to cancel your animation. You had to finish your animation and then you could move away. And from what I've seen, I think that is not the case here. At least I hope it's not the case here, because that is what I didn't like about Inquisition's, at least melee gameplay. It didn't bother me as much as a mage, because I'm just hanging out in the back anyway. So not really a fan of not being able to control our companions, though.
I'd also like to see some gameplay of the other classes before.
And higher level too, because level 1 with one ability never looks impressive. And I get it, we're seeing the first mission, but like they should have put in a higher level character to see what it could look like, because with one ability doing the same attack, it gets very monotonous. And that was my worry of like, okay, this looks really good, but now I'm looking like I'm getting bored of just shooting and slashing. Obviously that isn't the actual gameplay experience, because you are using your party's composition and using so many other attacks anyway. But still, for that bit of gameplay where we're seeing it for the first time, it would have been better to have at least like a level 10 rogue where they have at least 3 abilities. And that's me nitpicking it. It would just be good to see a high level character and how the gameplay actually is when we are seeing that. Either way, it looks a lot more fully baked than Inquisition, because Inquisition's gameplay was just very underbaked, especially in the melee department. It just felt so underbaked in terms of what you could do, the combos. Mage, really fun, really good classes to play, but warrior and rogues, not so much, particularly dual wielding and weapon and shield. Weapon and shield, I think, is probably the weakest way to go, just because of how robust and not fun it was. And I really wanted to spec into that excitedly in Inquisition, and it ended up being really boring. So I'm really excited to see in here that now you can throw shields, for example, or you can parry, or if you're a mage, you have a spell that allows you to parry an attack, or there are a lot more dynamics to it, and it's ultimate abilities and other abilities, and you got a bit more of a spell combination and stuff like that. So it looks a lot more fluid, a lot more baked, like an actual RPG combat system, as opposed to what it was in the past in Inquisition, at least.
And you also seem to have some magic abilities too as a rogue. At least in a gameplay that is showed off. So that's also interesting.
I think it also would have been nice to see just maybe plop them in some non-spoilery-esque mission at a higher level, because even in the tutorial, you can't control Nev and Harding. Like whenever he pulled up his skill wheel, there was obviously blanked out slots for what would have normally been your companion skills, but you didn't get to do that because it's the tutorial mission. So it really felt like a bit repetitive in terms of like, well, as in all low level RPGs are like that. Like you got your one ability that you really just have to use until you get more and more and more and more, and you can customize and swap out. And then you also have your companions to eventually customize and do combos with. I would have liked to see more of that. And maybe they'll show some off later to really show what like mid to high level gameplay is like. It is a good representation of gameplay, but it's only a good representation of like the first few hours of the game, maybe even the first hour, because even immediately probably after this mission, once we're done with with the fallout of everything, and you go on your first mission, which we now know is into the Arlethen forest, you're probably going to have control of Nev and Harding in that situation. You already have 3 times the options.
It's
ready
true.
for you.
And then you can choose
Immediately.
Balara
Yeah.
as well, because you're getting a new companion.
Exactly.
So you've already got
Exactly.
the choice between 2 mages and a rogue, with Scout Harding having some mage capabilities too, or magic capabilities, I should say. So yeah, already immediately. And that's the thing, like, although I'm nitpicking, it would have been nice to at least see not just killing the Pride Demon with the same ability and the same attacks repeatedly. Yes, that is realistic. Yes, we will all be doing that when we play the Veilguard. But I think just for seeing the gameplay for the first time, it would have been better just to have somebody with 3 more, with at least 3 abilities, and actually seeing your party's composition. Just because, yes, while it's a realistic approach, I kind of want to see how far it can really go. But again, nitpicking.
The fact that we can only have 3, it sounds like so little, because I just, when I'm playing a mage, I like to have it origin style, where I have like an entire bar full of abilities that being able to use only or have only 3 active at a time just sounds so like it's too
Especially
few,
as
in my
a
opinion,
PC
but
player as well, when you do have a keyboard.
Yeah.
Like that's,
Yeah. Having said that, the devs have said that apart from your 3 main abilities, you have a few other things that you can do, plus your companions to control. So maybe when I've actually played the game, it doesn't bother me as much.
That's the thing, like ultimate abilities and everything else, combining it's going to be, and combinations of party members. Maybe it might not be as severe as it sounds, but you are going from what, like 8, 9, 10 abilities in Inquisition to now 3 with your party. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I think the best approach for the gameplay trailer would have been every time they got to that screen where they were like, we're going to skip ahead a little bit to like get to the next part. It should have kept the same character, same origin of Shadow Dragon, so nothing changed. But every time it did that cut, a different class. Like you start as the rogue, and then cutting to the Arlethen Forest fight, then you do the fighter, so you have a new skill to watch for the next few minutes.
That'd
and
be
then
cool.
then when it cut to the Pride Demon, you show off the mage for the last bit, and that's all 3 done in the gameplay trailer.
That'd
and
be
it's
cool.
not just the rogue for the entire
Yeah.
thing. That would have been the best
Yeah.
way.
That is true, because then you're not just seeing the rogue for 20 minutes, you're seeing other classes at level 1 or whatever. That would have been a really cool idea. Have you ever thought about working
Agreed.
at BioWare EA, Lambo?
Oh, good God.
You're the ideas man.
I'd just be sitting in a corner while they're having a meeting and just be like, what if? Double Lace Harding's romance content.
Hey, well, we're getting it.
No, double it.
Oh, double
Double
it.
it. More.
What do you mean double
More.
it?
Yeah.
More?
More.
More?
Yeah.
Content.
More?
More romance. Trust me, I've seen Twitter. That's what the people want.
So how do we get more romance then when you've already got romance? Like more of what?
Yeah, where's that 3 at, huh?
After every single mission, when you go back to talk to him, there's another cutscene. Hey, can I get a kiss like in other things? Go on dates with him. Repetitive dates. I don't care. More romance content. And then they'd all just look at me like, why do we hire this guy?
And they'd be like, because he wants more romance. He has
I'm
a
the
good point.
ideas guy. You pay me to have ideas. It's not my fault that your games make me have these ideas.
It's your fault. You made me this way.
Look what you've done to me,
True.
Oregon.
I am the result of your creation. Besides the gameplay, what was our thoughts on like the initial plot line of the Veilguard? At least based on the 20 minutes preview, and then what has come out since then in the Game Informer article.
Well, I didn't go as far into the Game Informer article because I've been trying to avoid like reading everything. I did
Boo!
get the gist, right? It's basically what we expected of Solus immediately enacting his plan when we start the game. Honestly, I feel like you guys are going to cover that more, so I'll just talk about the thing that I fully expect to happen, and that is Varric is saying goodbye.
Say that again?
Varric is saying goodbye.
No,
Varric's going to die.
That's what I thought you said, but I thought like no!
Yeah, no, Varric is going to die.
No, don't say that.
He has so many red flags in the trailer.
No.
Bianca's dead.
No.
And after you collapse the statue and it changes to Solus's perspective, Varric's there with him, but then once he tries to hold the veil and the 2 gods come out, and he has that scene where he's looking up and crying as well, Varric's no longer behind him. There's something huddled or collapsed on the ground at the bottom of the stairs behind him, and suddenly Rook is there at the stairs. So they've cut something out.
He ran away.
I think the reason Solus is crying is because one of the gods committed die on Varric.
No,
He's not crying.
No,
That's
100%. One of the gods commits die on Varric, because that is how do you make an antagonist instantly hateable. You have them kill someone you care about.
Stop
or you
it.
show their
Stop
No, like,
it.
look.
you show their strength to an extreme degree. I think about Thanos' first introduction in Infinity War. What does he do? He beats the shit out of the Hulk and kills Loki. Like those are his first two things he does. So I think honestly, if the first thing the Elven Gods do is they see Solus and then they see some random ass dwarf and like, oh, get out of here, cretin, and they just like Elven God blast his ass down the stairs, then I would not be surprised. I will be sad. I will be enraged, and whoever did that will be on the top of my list. But it will be very effective.
No.
Also,
no.
I don't envision Varric making it out of this game and coming back for the next game when his writer is no longer a BioWare.
Stop it.
You're right.
It's one of three situations in my mind. Either it's what we just discussed, and that the gods just blast Varric because who is this dwarf? The second one is they immediately try to.
So I just started blasting.
Varric
they blast Solus, but
Varric jumps in the way to protect him.
Stop it. No.
The scene, whatever scene they cut out is Solus either getting frustrated at the fact that he failed to contain the gods, or whatever other reason, accidentally kills Varric. And that's why he's Varric tries to grab the dagger and Solus accidentally kills him, and then Varric falls down the stairs with the dagger.
What if Varric isn't dead? What if he's just injured, and this is how they introduce the injured mechanic to us? And it's also
to use an injury
No,
kit.
Listen, I thought about this. Yeah, there's an injured. No, there's an injured mechanic. There's an injured mechanic. I swear, I'm not lying.
You're coping so hard right now.
I know.
I'm with Lisa. I'm with Lisa. No.
I don't deny it, but there's an injured mechanic, and this is a way they can introduce it without having an effect on our companions yet. It's also an excuse for Varric to become an advisor and sit around at the lighthouse. With Bianca being broken and him being injured.
Next question, Lisa. How come in all the articles they mention, you and Neve and Solus and Harding go to the lighthouse? Why do they mention Varric?
Because he went to the Inquisition. He's gonna get the Inquisitor. That's why.
Inquisition's broken up,
Yeah.
Jack.
No, well,
He's
he went
going
to
to
go
get
find the Inquisitor.
The Inquisitor.
Yeah.
He can
Or-
send a letter. He did the same.
No,
before.
he wanted to go in person. He went to go see his bestie.
Hawks is
Or maybe
bestie.
the Inquisitor was
no.
close by, and then the Inquisitor finds Varric and nurses him back to health.
I think
Hawk-
the Inquisitor's going to show up after
Hawks
hearing
in the
Varric's
Fade.
dead, and he's like,
Hawks in the Fade is my Inquisitor's bestie now. Bye, bitch.
I think the Inquisitor's going to show up because they hear that Varric died and they're pissed.
That's also a really
all
good
jokes-
way for them to appear.
Yeah.
Stop
All
it!
jokes aside, all jokes aside, I agree. Varric's not. He's not
No,
surviving.
Lisa, you were on my side.
no.
No.
Sorry, Chief. No.
No.
The Varric is dead party grows. Oh, he's
Jack,
so dead.
Jack.
He's so cooked.
Jack,
I'm sorry.
outside of cope and reasoning and everything, what is the best thing for the story?
To end the game by rebuilding Bianca and giving it to Varric in his injured chair.
No, I said no.
Here
I
you
said
go,
no,
Varric.
Cope. I
We'll
said
see
no-
you in
I
Dragon
said-
Age 5,
I said-
and we'll
I
defeat
said
the
no.
old Elven
I
gods
said
together.
No cope, Jack. What makes sense for a satisfying story
At
or
least-
a great villain introduction?
At least rebuilding Bianca, then.
What? So
Okay,
we
so
can
we rebuild
Or-
Bianca. No, listen,
or
we
we
rebuild
rebuild
Bianca.
Yeah, we rebuild Varric.
Or that. We
I-
rebuild Bianca.
I
we
do
place
think-
it. We place it on his body as it gets burned.
Stop it, Lisa!
Oh, Viking
Lisa.
funeral!
Lisa,
No,
stop!
we rebuild Bianca. The Inquisitor puts it on their arm. Under
Oh,
their
yes.
prosthetic arm.
That's a heavy crossbow. I don't think my mage
Your
Inquisitor can
your
do that.
Inquisitor could be a Canary. You can
My
make a mini
Inquisitor is
Bianca.
not.
To answer
Yeah,
Lambo's question,
I just.
it would be a satisfying conclusion if we were to have Varric die. He was supposed to die in Dragon Age 2's DLC, and that was going to set up the Conclave and Inquisition, and Hawks kind of being having a big role in the Inquisition's narrative. So maybe they might do that for Dragon Age Veilguard. It would be really good. I would like it if Solas wasn't the one to kill him. I like the idea of Varric jumping in the way or the Elven Gods killing him instead, and Solas being annoyed at that.
I don't think
I-
Solus would ever intentionally kill Varric.
Well, he would have done it, wouldn't
I-
he? Instead, he chose to kill Bianca destroy Bianca instead. So I don't think I think if he was going to kill him, he would have already done it.
What do you think Varric's last words would be? Because I imagine he would say something along the lines of,
No, it's good.
Sorry,
Chuckles, get down!
"Mr. President, get down."
Yeah, no, that would definitely be it. Oh.
I think
See,
shit.
I don't.
Well,
Oh my
shit.
no, that's
Yeah,
so
no,
true.
that would. Ah, shit, yeah.
Tell
Oh
Bertrand
my
I
God.
love him.
I'm
If he's
okay with
alive.
Varric dying if he gets a good send-off, but I also don't hope it's right in the beginning of the game.
He can't be on the front cover of the game if he's going to die in the first 20 minutes. That's my logic.
That's so incorrect.
Stop it.
Like,
What do you
oh, man,
mean?
there's so many
Look
examples
at it this
of,
way,
like, a
Jack.
character being
If
on
he
front
wasn't
cover
on the
something
cover,
before he died.
we'd know for 100% he was going to die. That's why they put him there. And he's a major part of the opening.
But he's a major part
That's
of the
true.
entire game as well,
No.
because he's in all of the game.
No, he's going to die.
No.
All right, but if you look behind him, you can see his ghost leaving his body.
Okay, hold on. I'll counter offer. Oh, not counter offer. Just a counter to your statement. Bianca's there too, Jack.
Oh,
Wait,
oh
wait,
no,
you
he's
kinda
gonna die!
He kind of spitting. Also, counter offer. The Darkspawn, they're not alive.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Okay,
And so is Manfred. Manfred's there. He's not
I
alive.
will give a single spark of hope to Jack. Varric is wearing gear he wasn't wearing in the trailer.
There you go.
That is also true.
That is
He's
also
got
true.
he's got an armored like shoulder plate there, and the fur coat goes really
Yeah.
high there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Without going into like too many details of the Game Informer article, it could be that the game lets us think he's dead and that we meet him later because of what happens to our rook.
If we don't see a body, he's not dead.
Also, if we do want to talk about the Game Informer article, maybe we should give a spoiler warning for the people that don't.
Spoiler
wanna
warning
know
for the Game
too
Informer
much.
stuff.
Yeah.
If you don't want to know, now is your chance.
Yeah.
You've made it into this
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, so
So
Varric
with
does
that-
die. The informer, the Game
No,
Informer.
no.
Yeah.
No.
At the end of the
Yes.
article, it says, by the way, Varric dies.
Yeah, so with the spoiler warning out of the way, I mean, our rook passes out, so we don't know what happens.
Varric
Us
runs
passing
away.
out and
And he gets a little kiss from the real Bianca. And then he goes to see the Inquisitor. They share a red wine together. And then he goes. Then they all go together. And they go find Solas. And they have a big party.
okay, sure, that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, for sure.
After you pass out, you wake up at the start of the game again. It's Groundhog Day till you save Varric.
Yes.
I mean, Varric, I can see Varric, at least, if he's not dead, they're going to presume he's dead. He's going to be MIA, maybe recovering, maybe the Inquisitor found him, took him in. That's how the Inquisitor's introduced, because he has to be introduced, or they have to be introduced some way, because they're in the game, 100% confirmed. But yeah, so I imagine, like, maybe some shit happens, and maybe Varric's there lying on the ground, appears to be dead, and then Hardy's like, we have to go! Or something like, no, also we pass out, so it doesn't matter. So some chicanery happens, and next thing you know, we're inside the Fade at this lighthouse.
Which sounds sick,
Yeah.
by the way. The lair of the Dread Wolf, basically. Also, the fact that
I
Solas
can't-
is choosing the next hero's new hub like he did with the Inquisitor is crazy as well.
Yeah.
Man has so
Two
many
Dread
pads
Wolf
in
players.
Thedas.
No wonder rent's so expensive.
Well, yeah. He lives rent-free in our minds as well as paying rent. It's brilliant.
Literally.
It's brilliant. And I love that dynamic. Because, like, Rook could potentially be closer to Solas in many ways than the Inquisitor.
Inside of the game and also outside of the game.
Yeah. It'll be a lot like our mindsets, I imagine, since Inquisition. Haha. What has he been doing? Living in, like, the squalor age of, like, the pandemic and, seeing his state of life and, like, his table that has, like, one plate on it because he left Llewellyn alone and stranded. The nice, good, happy stuff that happens.
I just want to see his murals.
Yeah.
I bet he's
Oh,
been
yeah.
painting in there.
I want to see
wanna
him with hair as well, however way that may manifest.
I'm also excited to see just the state of Thedas in 10 years since we've last seen it. Like, obviously, we have the comics and the books to kind of give us a glimpse into that, but I also want to know details about, like, different main characters. Like, what's the Divine up to?
Yeah.
What's the Inquisition up to, if it's there or not, if it's expanded or not. I mean, obviously, we're probably going to get some inclination with Harding. Like, obviously, we're probably going to get, some about Dorian or maybe Cassandra or XYZ character, and I'm just, like, very fascinated to see, because, like, we don't know the state that they are in, and it's been a decade, so it's a long time. They could be dead or something, like Varric, but...
Most companions from Inquisition would be in their late 40s, early 50s.
That's weird to think about.
Yeah, because most of them were in their 30s. I
Yeah.
think Cassandra or Bull were the oldest.
Well, the Blackwall as well.
Solus is definitely the oldest.
So speaking of characters and stuff, one character or a part of the companions whose has captured everybody's eyes or eye.
Harding.
Harding.
Oh, we got two Hardings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you both hard
Yeah.
for Harding?
Okay,
She's
let's.
hiding
Okay,
in
all
High-
right, all right, all right,
She's
all right.
hiding
all
in
right, all right.
Hightown. Besides Harding, I think like Tash will be an interesting one.
I said
Sorry,
one. No greed. No greedy.
No.
No
Okay,
greed.
I will let Marshall claim Harding. Davron.
Oh, I'll let you
Valid.
explain them in a minute. Then, Lisa, give us your one.
Yeah, I'm very torn, but I'm gonna have to say Lucanus.
Oh, okay. So we have Davron with Lambo, Lucanus with Lisa, and Harding with Marshall. And then I have Nev. Lisa, why Lucanus?
Yeah, so, well, it's not just because he looks very pretty, I swear. No, it's
That's
also
every
because
character.
of... Yeah, I mean, they all look pretty, to be honest. But
Yeah.
there's something going on with him, obviously,
Oh, yeah.
with the glowy wings. But for the companion video that I've been working on, I've been looking at everybody's tarot cards.
Yes.
And
Same.
looking at Lucanus' tarot card, there are elements of surrealism in his tarot card, and the others don't have that. If you look at his daggers, especially his right one, his right hand, it kind of merges into, it kind of warps into the dagger. It's as if he doesn't have a hand, and the dagger is like an extension of himself, and then the daggers kind of
Ooh.
melts away into the background. It looks very funky, and that reminds me of the Fade and Magic.
Ooh.
And also there is, I think we called it peacock feathers,
Yes.
the purple,
Yeah.
the purple orbs. But I think they kind of look like the eyes of a pride demon
Same.
or a memory spirit. Yeah. So
So
spirit.
is he our possessed
Absolutely.
boy?
So that is kind of my theory. That's what I think, and maybe it's not necessarily that he's possessed. There is something going on with him related to magic and the Fade, because whenever something taps into the Fade, he feels an itch at the back of his eyes. Also, they call him the demon.
Yes, I was about to say
also,
that. Yeah.
the prominent color in his tarot card, apart from like the dark gray color,
Purple.
is purple, and on top of that, there is the glowing wings. That is my theory for him, and that's why I think he's like very interesting as a character.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe there is something similar going on to Anders Justice and Win with Faith, where he is still himself, but he kind of merged with the spirit.
Yeah.
And the spirit's abilities only come out when he's able to call upon the spirit for help during a fight when he needs it.
What if he had merged with the spirit, but then the spirit transformed into a demon while he was possessed? So it doesn't have full control, but he still has like it's
The
like
on-off
the
switch.
the extension of its demonic influence. It's like, oh, I've merged with Valor,
Yeah.
and while Valor was in me, he became a demon, as opposed to just making Anders a little bit loopy.
That'd be so crazy if it was just the D&D character I made for our thing, who had the Spear of the Valor
Yeah.
inside of him, but then it just becomes a demon. Like,
Whoops.
oh shit.
So I just really want to know what's going on there.
Yeah. He did say death is his
Um,
calling as well. So, like, did he actually die and then get possessed by a demon or some malarkey? Like, cool.
Yeah.
Probably not, but, you know, there
'Cause
is that idea.
He was presumed to be dead, so
Yeah.
either he faked his death or he was actually close to dying, but he survived and just forgot to tell everyone.
Yeah, well, yeah, he literally told Ilaria that he's going to die so that he can become the first Talon, as in Ilario. Well, he said that death is my calling, such as yours, to become the first Talon. Maybe he baked his death for the other Antivan crows to then make Ilario become the first Talon. I don't know, but there's definitely something like that going on.
He didn't want to be first talent anyway.
He didn't exactly. He wanted Ilario. Well, and Ilario did. So we'll see what the mystery around that is. But yeah, definitely a lot of demon iconography, which is crazy. Definitely not what I expected. Lambo, why Davron?
Well, outside of Harding, Davron's the character that probably hits like closest to home for me. Like Grey Warden, already my favorite faction. Having the Griffin, automatic brownie points.
Yeah.
But mostly I just love his design, like the unique Valisleen that we still don't know if it's just like an updated version of. He just has a really good looking design. Like I love his new, like, I don't know if it's meant to be like new Warden armor or if it's just like he just has his own wardrobe that he has as opposed to the like the Warden iconography and stuff. Obviously, we already heard his voice. Oh god, the voice actor's name.
Ikamadi? I think it was?
Yes. Another Grey Warden. That's already the biggest brownie points for me. I just can't get over how good his design looks in. Even though we don't like the trailer, it did a good showcase of showing off everyone's personalities where he's already in some dark horrific place fighting off Darkspawn with Asan. Yeah. And I really just want to learn more about Davron, honestly. So after my initial playthrough where I romance Harding, I'm definitely going for Davron for a second romance.
Marshall, why are you hard for Harding?
Okay, well, one, don't say it like that.
So like what?
And two, I'm a big fan of Harding since Inquisition. I really liked her. I was sad she wasn't a full-fledged companion or romance option, even though you could flirt with her.
Yeah.
In Inquisition, they tease you, and it's rude that they do that. So pretty much ever since like the idea of a Dragon Age 4 has been floating around, I'm like, I would love it if Harding was an actual companion this time, since I feel like there was a lot about her character that we haven't gotten to see yet. And as more time went on, and she seemed to be taking more central role in some of the comics and the books, I'm like, yes, we're almost there. And then she was finally revealed to be a full-fledged companion. I've been in this camp since the very beginning, so I'm really excited because I really want to know more about her character. The fact that we only got a little bit of Inquisition is finally now being paid off. Now we can finally fully explore this fan favorite character that honestly should have had more of in the original game. And so seeing this minor character from Inquisition become a full-fledged companion is really exciting for me, and I also think she's really cute. Anyway.
So basically,
I like her freckles.
You've been
Her freckles are really cute.
You've been hard for Harding for 10 years.
Right, so then my doctors say it's a problem.
No, it's pretty. And that's the thing. Like,
fine. It's normal for guys our age.
how
How
many?
old are you?
We don't need to talk about that.
It's been 10 years, not 30.
How many
Right.
Dragon Age games does it take to get a female dwarf companion who's also romanceable?
4.
4.
Sorry. Let's take it back, Jack. A romanceable dwarf companion doesn't even need to just be female.
It's true. Sorry, that was the
Yeah.
point. That was the point.
Well, thankfully, Redacted is no longer working on the games. So
What, David Gator?
yeah, okay, we can just say his name. Yeah, David Gator. He's no longer
That's
working
fine.
on the games, so we can actually have romanceable dwarves.
So for me, I like Nev a lot. Personally, Emmerich is going to be my best friend, my bestie. Emmerich is a sensitive soul, a romantic, a gentleman who has a best friend with a skeleton. That, for me, love that shit. Relate to that hardcore. Besides, I don't have a skeleton dead friend. But yeah, Emmerich, I cannot wait for him to be my bestie. But for me, Nev's a cynic, a detective, a private investigator. She just sounds like such an intriguing, exciting character that I'm really excited to delve into, get to know her a lot more. I loved her presence. I loved her story in Winter Nights anyway, where she is literally in the streets of Manrathis and is uncovering a Venatori scheme to unleash a demon below the city of Manrathis, which is crazy. But I just love that gruesome, gritty aspect of her character. She's an ice mage as well, with a dwarven prosthetic leg, and she just seems elegant but badass at the same time. And she's also got a sick fashion sense too. So I'm excited to delve into a romance with her. I'm not just saying I'm gonna romance her now for my first playthrough. I want to at least try and like let Balara and like Emmerich seduce me, but I am pretty much set on Nev. I don't want to be, but like I am. But I need to get more of a personality first. But the cast of characters, honestly, this time around, while Dragon Age has always had an exciting cast, I like the smaller number because we're getting more content with them. And it feels like we're really going to actually have a lot of substantial character plot lines, friendships, as well as romances too. So I love that.
The devs have said that their progression is, some of their skills are tied to their character progression.
Yeah.
So does that mean if a companion doesn't like me enough, that I can't level their skills? Like, I'm just wondering, I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm just wondering how that works. Because if the two are tied together, do I need to have amount of approval with them in order to like do get their skills, or is there a rivalry system?
The way I imagined it was like the more like I guess approval or like the higher your friendship stat with them is, I guess it would like fast track their XP. Like, oh, they're really friendly with me, therefore they have more XP than other players, and they like, or other party members, and they level up sooner than others, as opposed to, oh, I reached this level of romance with them, therefore this skill goes to level 2, whilst, Lucanus hates me, so he hasn't even gotten to level 1 yet. I always saw it as more of like a XP boost, or like here's a flat amount of XP, which incentivizes you to be to get to know everyone, so you can level them up faster and stuff like that, as opposed to just get to know them because characters are the focus, as an actual like gameplay reward for getting to know the characters and like playing to their strengths.
Unless there's something similar to what they had in Dragon Age 2, where you get skills, but only like the special skills that are tied to being friends or having a rivalry, you can unlock if you leveled either one of those.
I'd be interested in seeing the rivalry system come back.
It sounds like it's going to be dynamic like that in terms of how high is your relationship with this character, how does it form, what is it going to take? It sounds like there's more life and death consequences this time around too, which I'm excited about.
Finally.
Yeah. I mean, I am excited, but I'm also very scared.
But I love that though, because it's
No.
like it shouldn't be
Yeah.
a walk in the park. Whereas Inquisition, like in my first playthrough, nothing bad really happened. Whereas at least like with Mass Effect 2, bloody hell, my first playthrough of Mass Effect 2 went to shit, and I loved that because it's all about player choice and agency. If everybody doesn't have any feeling of choice and consequence, what's the point when an RPG is built upon it? So I want that to be a pivotal thing, and I'm glad that it is.
Take up arms against 2 of the Elven Gods and walk out of it unharmed if, like, you're not prepared.
Yeah.
Well, if I read this walkthrough, they will.
Yeah.
No, but
I have a magical reload button.
On my first suicide run of the Mass Effect, like I think everyone but Dr. Chuck got melted. I think Morden also died because I sent him to protect like Chuckless and stuff, and I don't think I did his loyalty on the first playthrough. It should be similar to that. Like if you haven't, not so much loyalty missions, but like if you haven't built up enough friendship with like the people in your crew, they're not going to trust you as much. And against Elven Gods, you need them to like be able to like trust you and fight alongside you at their best capacity, because there's not really room to fuck around here.
I have a problem where I have to like look through things to make sure I make the right choices for a game. It's been an issue I've had because I always feel like I have to do it perfectly. I did it with Baldur's Gate 3. I even do it with Elden Ring like quest because I'm worried about doing it wrong and fucking up. But I'm really trying to mentally prepare myself to, you're going to play this game multiple times. Just do the first playthrough blind. Who cares if you miss this, and that? Going to play this game multiple times, it's okay. Like Baldur's Gate 3, I followed the guide as best I could for some of the choices I wanted to make, because it's going to be a while before I sit back down and play that game again. But this game, I'm probably going to start a second playthrough the moment I'm done with it, and especially so if I really commit to the just let it ride. If you lose Harding, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. I feel like goofing up like that is very fun and memorable, especially for a first playthrough, and then you go back, do it again, and this time I'll probably watch a guide to get the choices that I want more than what I naturally got my first playthrough.
I've been telling myself the same thing. I've managed to do it with Baldur's Gate 3 where I did not save scum because I just wanted to have a completely blind first playthrough.
You're stronger than me.
It was hard. I played all 3 Dragon Age games like long after they had released, so I already kind of knew a lot of the things from just like being on the internet and talking to people. The only thing I'm afraid of is that the character I'm romancing dies, and then it's like, well, now what? Am I gonna romance somebody else? Am I just not going to?
Well, what do I do?
I had imagined this to be romancing this character, and now they're dead, so I don't know what to do now. So that's the only thing I'm really worried about. But yeah, I should probably just stick to whatever choice I made, and well, I guess there's always another playthrough.
Yeah.
Another thing is that they really emphasize that your choices will affect your companions directly.
Yeah.
For example, the tutorial choice, which I don't think will have major consequences, but consequences nonetheless it will have.
Yeah.
Where you can choose either Harding or Nev to accompany you into that fade amplify, near the ritual. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, the crazy over there, we gotta be careful. And you can choose either Nev or Harding to accompany you. And I imagine, depending on who you choose, something's going to happen whenever you come back from that scene. And I imagine that it will be probably minor. I would probably bet to say taking Nev might be a little bit worse, considering she's a mage, and that might do some stuff with that. But even so, maybe Harding will get affected by it regardless of the fact she's a dwarf. I still think that one will be a little bit minor, because it will be a tutorial in how your actions affect your companions directly, and then later on, there's going to be major consequences for your companions. And
it'll be like the
and
intro
that's
to how
scary.
Consequences can work. And when I was watching that trailer, like I could already feel my mind just like, I don't know these people yet, let's go into logic mode. Right, so one of us is going to go into the giant fade magic area, and the other person's going to hold the demons off. Hey, Harding, with like the 10 hours you have left, hold off those demons. Neve, fuck, goddammit, Nev, you want to jump into the fade with me? No, it makes more sense to take Harding with you, who's at least resistant, and Nev to use her limitless supply of magic to hold off the demons.
Exactly, which is probably what you're gonna have to do until you get attached to your companions, and then shit gets a little bit more complicated.
It's true.
Everyone,
because we don't know. We have no idea if taking a certain companion with us will badly affect that character, or if leaving them will badly affect that character.
It's true.
So we don't know if it's
What if it's what if it's like, oh, it's me, Lucanus. This is what he sounds like now. I need you to take me on this mission because my father is there and I must kill him. And you don't take
smoke gravel.
And he's like, fuck you. You didn't take me on the father killing mission. I'm leaving you forever and stuff like that. Kind of like if you, spoilers for Baldur's Gate 3, if you don't take Shadowheart to the Night Song in Char's Gauntlet, she'll leave you. She'll leave you forever because it's such an important moment for her character, and then you deny her that. So I imagine there might be things along those lines, or like bringing a character along for a certain mission will unlock certain things that only would have happened if you brought them. And the fact that you can only bring 2 companions really is stretching it thin.
Yeah.
So
I know.
Obviously that's in the design. They know that stuff's going to happen, and anything super major is not going to be like, these 3 different companions will have 3 life-changing events if you bring them for this one mission. Like, I doubt that's going to be the case. Stuff like that is most likely going to happen, especially since, as they've said, as is the whole point of the name change, this game is going to heavily be about your companions. The best companions they've ever written in their words, and the most in-depth companions. They're going to have so many things that you can do with them in terms of where you take their story and their narrative and their character, that I would not be surprised if every small decision matters for what you do with these people.
It sounds like there's a lot of nuance to it now, like Mass Effect 2, but even more so than just loyalty, like Baldur's Gate 3 in an instance of, did you bring this character, the nuance of that character knows this person, bringing them on that certain quest. It sounds like, because they've got smaller than what they've normally had of 9 companions, and less advisors, obviously no advisors this time in Inquisition, with that smaller number, there's more quality over quantity, and the fact that every single companion is romanceable is brilliant too. Like, it sounds like there is a lot of content in each of these characters, whereas I think Inquisition, characters like Blackwall for me fall a bit flat in terms of their content. Even Josephine has good content, but because there are so many romances in that game and there are so many characters, they have to kind of thin it out in certain parts, where Solas has so much content and exposition. Characters like Blackwall don't have as much, or Josephine. And I know that they were added. Vivienne. Vivienne, good example, has like 2 side quests, so like, at least it seems like for Veilguard, it's not going to be as thin. It seems like it's going to be more compact, more dense, but we're going to have to wait and see for that. And then less is more, and that's what I like about this. And yes, we only have 2 companions to bring alongside, but that's going to make your repeated playthroughs better, because my first is going to be Emmerich and Nev, hands down, and then my second is like, alright, well now I can try Davrin and da-da-da-da. You're going to actually have a lot more replay value this time around, which I know isn't what you want Dragon Age for, but in some regard it'll be good. I know for a first playthrough, like, it's always different anyway, but still, it'll be good to have that incentive of, right, well, you know what, I didn't get much of Davrin last time, so I'm bringing him on now, and we're going to see what that dynamic is like.
Yeah, it also feels like, and they've also stated that something along these lines, with less people going on missions, the banter can be more dynamic, the banter be more intimate with each other, more focused, because they've mentioned that they can't stop writing banter.
Yeah.
So it feels like there's going to be a lot of banter in this game, especially if it can be very tailored to specific situations with specific characters. You only have you and 2 other people. Well, that's only a 3-way conversation that you have to write for, or even a 2-way conversation if it's just your companions talking. Like this situation,
it's a lot more dynamic in that regard.
And obviously, we know that if you don't romance certain companions, they will get with each other. I can imagine if you don't romance Harding or Tash and you bring them along on missions, they might start to flirt with each other.
Hard Tash.
For sure. Yeah.
Like something along those lines. So I feel like it really helps the fact that they are choosing to focus so hard on these companions, because that, at the end of the day, is what everyone really likes about games like Dragon Age, is their well-written characters.
What is next for July in regards to Veilguard? Well, we just got a tweet that Dragon Age are going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. Is anybody going to San Diego Comic-Con?
No.
No. There's no.
Chat,
as the only one in America.
Chat, let us know if anybody's going to San Diego Comic-Con, because we are going to strap a GoPro to you, and you will be our eyes on the inside. When is Veilguard coming out? Specifically, we're going to throw our bets on a specific date for the Veilguard, just to actually guess and throw something out there. I think for a specific date for Veilguard, November, Friday, 22nd. It's a Friday. It's the same week as Inquisition, but 10 years on.
December 4th, Wednesday, Dragon Age Day.
I was going to say the anniversary as well, but I'll try to be original and I'll say November 6th, because I am selfish and that's my birthday.
Hey!
I don't
Alright,
actually believe it's dropping then, but you know.
I'm going to throw a curveball. I'm gonna say October 19th. No, October 18th, that Friday.
Yeah.
Because it would be nice if it came out sooner rather than later.
That's honestly.
That's fair.
It could happen.
That's fair.
People are like, it's coming out in September. I'm like, we can review those release dates, obviously, when we get the release date. But, October, November, December, not long away at all.
Nope.
3 months to 5.
So close.
So close to playing this game. And we're seeing more, literally, on the cusp of things right now. So, Lisa, Lambo, anything to promote before we close out?
Might be out by the time you have this edited and released. I have my... Oh, actually, I'll keep it secret just in case it isn't out for some reason. I've got a 40-second-ish video coming out making a meme about one random complaint that people had about a detail about Veilguard. And then I have another video involving releasing a bunch of green screens. That's what I've got working on right now. And we just finished recording the second episode of Jeopardy!
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that went a certain way.
It sure did.
Yeah.
A video where I go over all the companions for Veilguard. I actually finished the script today, so I'm hoping to record that tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
That's about it.
I
still need to do my breakdown of the gameplay too, but
yeah,
I'll do that at some point.
I'm doing a very similar video to Lisa as well in terms of looking at the companions, looking at the Twin Nights stories. I think it'll be a bit different, but mine's looking at the backstories of Twin Nights and how that relates to who we know about them, what we do know about them, etc. And I have been working on it today. I'm working on it tomorrow. I aim to get it out on Monday. We'll see. I'm a little bit sick at the moment. We'll see. I mean, this is probably out before. This will be definitely out before it. We'll see. But yeah, and then on my list, I mean, take your pick. We're going to talk about Rook at some point. We're going to talk about the combat and the gameplay, romance, and then we're going to get San Diego news literally into this month. There is no shortage of Dragon Age content. It's coming from all of us. So it is a very exciting time. And we are off the cusp of getting this release date. I feel it. I feel it in my Grey Warden blighted tent.
Mike Gamble has said that the release date will be out soon-ish, so maybe at Comic-Con, maybe by the end of the month. I would imagine either this month or sometime in August.
Jack, could you please never say you feel it in your taint again?
Yeah, that's it. Please don't.
Why not? It's my tainted blood.
Oh, okay, well, make sure you just add the word blood at the
Yeah.
end, right?
Why? I feel it in my taint. Why?
Okay, alright, thanks for watching the episode.
I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? I feel
Bye.
it in my taint. I feel it in my taint.
Yeah, you're worse than the Darkspawn.